On September 17th, 2025, the city of Dalian, in northeastern China, woke up under a sky that soon turned into a monster of water and storm. What began as heavy rain quickly escalated into an unprecedented urban catastrophe. In less than an hour, rain gauges measured 98 millimeters of precipitation, a figure that shattered every historical record in Liaoning Province. The scale of the downpour made it clear that the drainage systems had no chance of withstanding such an assault. Water spilled out everywhere. Streets turned into raging rivers that carried away cars, blocked avenues, and forced thousands of people to come to a sudden stop in the middle of the chaos. Residents who had only just started their workday suddenly found themselves trapped in a rapidly expanding emergency. What should have been a normal morning became a city-wide crisis. Three hours after the first downpour, the rainfall total had already passed 100 millimeters. By the 6-hour mark, it had reached 217 millimeters, making Dalian the hardest-hit city in China that day. Experts quickly defined the event as a short-term extreme rainfall. These kinds of phenomena, though brief, are capable of bringing an entire modern metropolis to its knees. As the storm continued to unleash its fury, the local meteorological office issued a red alert, the highest level in China's warning system. But the warning came too late. Large areas of the city were already underwater. Iconic roads such as Zhongshan Road, Port Square, and Gorky Road became disaster zones. The images were striking. Cars floating like toys, pedestrians clinging to anything they could, and shops inundated up to their windows. The force of the water spared nothing. In entire neighborhoods, levels rose to waist height, and the currents made it impossible to walk safely. The city was caught in a maze of water and mud. Underground parking garages began to flood rapidly. Families in low-lying homes scrambled to build makeshift barriers to save their belongings, while authorities warned of electrical hazards and the danger of short circuits. Public utilities activated maximum alert protocols. City crews worked tirelessly, installing high-capacity pumps to lower water levels in the most critical areas. Even so, the speed of the storm outpaced the response. Every effort was overtaken by yet another surge of water pushing through overwhelmed drains. Firefighters, police, and rescue teams spread across the city. Inflatable boats and ropes became essential tools to save those trapped in buses and basements. The scene grew even more dramatic when helicopters were called in to assist neighborhoods completely cut off by the floodwaters. From above, the city resembled a patchwork of lakes swallowing entire districts. But the rain was only the beginning. That same day, the National Meteorological Center warned of the approach of Typhoon Mina, the 17th storm of the season, moving in from the Philippine Sea towards southern China. Forecasts indicated Mina would enter the South China Sea that very night, intensifying the tension for a population already battered by floods. At the same time, radar confirmed the birth of a new cyclone, Bagatsa, the 18th of the year. Forecast models showed that this storm had the potential to grow into a super typhoon, powerful enough to devastate coastal cities in just hours. It was a dangerous combination. Experts reminded the public that autumn typhoons are often more violent than summer ones. The clash between warm seas and incoming cold air can multiply the strength of storms. In the north of the country, temperatures had dropped more than 12 degrees Celsius in only a few days. That sharp change was seen as a precursor to more intense and prolonged rainfall, heightening fears across several provinces. Regions such as Sichuan, Chongqing, Gansu, Hunan, Shaanxi, and Shanxi were already struggling with persistent rains. Meteorologists warned that the worst could arrive overnight, when downpours intensify and the threat of flash floods and landslides increases. In Dalian, residents were ordered to stay sheltered. Authorities urged people not to leave their homes, to stock up on food and water, and to follow official advisories closely. Shops and markets were quickly packed with last-minute buyers grabbing bottled water, canned food, and flashlights. The fear of being cut off spread as quickly as the water rushing through the streets. Public transportation was suspended on several routes. Schools shut their doors, and the entire city ground to a halt. What had been routine the day before was now replaced by uncertainty. Vital infrastructure, such as electricity and telecommunications, was placed under round-the-clock monitoring. A massive outage in the middle of the emergency could have triggered an even greater disaster. That September 17th was etched into Dalian's memory as the day the city collapsed in just a few hours. It had never before endured such an intense and destructive episode of rainfall. Scenes of floating cars, submerged neighborhoods, and rescuers fighting the current became the clearest image of a city exposed to the overwhelming power of nature. Dalian, the bustling port that had started the day running as usual, ended the night as a city completely paralyzed. Underwater, under alert, and staring at the threat of more storms looming on the horizon.